In this video we are going to talk about the 9/11 attacks. Before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. 9/11 was a series of 4 coordinated suicide attacks by al-Qaeda against the US. 19 terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airliners from the Northeast to California on September 11, 2001. Each of the 4 sets of attackers had one flight-trained hijacker. Their purpose was to crash planes into American landmarks, causing mass casualties and structural damage. The hijackers slammed the first 2 planes into the World Trade Center towers in New York and the third into the Pentagon in Virginia. The 4th jet was supposed to hit a federal facility in Washington, D.C., but a passenger revolt prevented the attempt. American Airlines Flight 11 impacted first. It hit the World Trade Center's North Tower at 8:46 a.m. At 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 hit the WTC South Tower. Both 110-story towers collapsed in an hour and 42 minutes, bringing down other World Trade Center structures, notably 7 World Trade Center, and destroying other buildings. 3rd hijacked jet, American Airlines Flight 77, crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington County, Virginia at 9:37 a.m., partially collapsing its side. 4th and final flight, United Flight 93, headed for Washington, D.C. The plane's passengers, aware of prior attempts, tried to restore control and avoid slamming into the target. The hijackers fought and crashed the jet in Stonycreek Township, Pennsylvania near Shanksville at 10:03 a.m. Investigators determined Flight 93's objective was the Capitol or White House. In the immediate aftermath, al-Qaeda was suspected. The U.S. launched the War on Terror and invaded Afghanistan to remove the Taliban, who refused to expel al-Qaeda and deport Osama bin Laden. In the aftermath of the attacks, the U.S. invoked Article 5 of NATO and asked its members to help fight al-Qaeda. Bin Laden fled to the White Mountains as U.S. and NATO ground forces surged across Afghanistan, but he escaped. After originally denying involvement, bin Laden acknowledged responsibility in 2004. Al-Qaeda claimed U.S. backing for Israel, U.S. soldiers in Saudi Arabia, and Iraq sanctions as justifications. Bin Laden was located in Abbottabad, Pakistan, and murdered by the U.S. military on May 2, 2011. Destruction of the World Trade Center and nearby infrastructure hurt NYC's economy and caused a global recession. Many countries reinforced anti-terrorism laws and boosted law enforcement and intelligence agency authorities to prevent terror strikes. The U.S. and Canadian civil airspaces were restricted until September 13, and Wall Street was closed until September 17. Respect or fear of more assaults led to several closings, evacuations, and cancellations. World Trade Center cleanup was completed in May 2002, whereas the Pentagon was reconstructed in a year. Many stakeholders were involved in the design of a new World Trade Center. One World Trade Center opened in November 2014 after being under development since 2006. The attacks caused 2,977 deaths, over 25,000 injuries, long-term health repercussions, and $10 billion in infrastructure and property damage. It's the deadliest terrorist attack in human history and the deadliest incident for firefighters and cops in U.S. history, with 340 and 72 killed, respectively. The National September 11th Memorial and AMP Museum in New York City, the Pentagon Memorial in Arlington County, Virginia, and the Flight 93 National Memorial near the crash site are all memorials. When the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in 1979, al-Qaeda was born. Bin Laden viewed the fight as a sacred cause to aid other Muslims defeat communist invaders in Afghanistan, the Soviets. Bin Laden organized Arab Mujahideen, Afghan Arabs, to fight the Soviets until 1989. CIA provided billions of dollars in weapons to the Afghan Mujahideen insurgency, some of which went to Arab volunteers. However, no direct U.S. aid to Bin Laden or his affiliates has ever been found. In 1996, Bin Laden issued his first fatwa, ordering American troops out of Saudi Arabia. In a second fatwa in 1998, Bin Laden criticized U.S. policy toward Israel and the prolonged presence of U.S. forces in Saudi Arabia after the Gulf War. Bin Laden told Muslims to strike Americans until their complaints were addressed. Muslim legal scholars have always agreed that jihad is an individual obligation if the enemy destroys Muslim countries, Bin Laden said. The attacks were planned by Bin Laden. Later, he recanted his false denials. Al Jazeera aired his statement on September 16, 2001. "I underlined that I did not do this act, which appears to have been done by individuals with their own agenda." In November 2001, U.S. forces acquired a videotape from an Afghan home. In the video, bin Laden admits knowing about the assaults. On December 27, 2001, a second bin Laden video was published. In the video, it's apparent that the West and America have an appalling hatred for Islam. Terrorism against America was a response to injustice, aiming at getting America to stop supporting Israel, which kills our people. The end of the United States is approaching, whether bin Laden or his minions are alive or dead, since the Muslim Ummah country has awoken. It is crucial to damage the U.S. economy, which is the source of its military force. If the economy tanks, they'll fill up. Shortly before the 2004 U.S. presidential election, bin Laden acknowledged al-Qaeda in the assaults. He confirmed his link to the attacks and said they were done because we are free and want our nation to be free. We weaken your security as you weaken ours. Bin Laden claims he personally ordered attacks on the WTC and Pentagon. Another video released by Al Jazeera in September 2006 shows bin Laden with one of the assault's primary planners, Ramzi bin al-Shibh, and two hijackers, Hamza al-Ghamdi and Wael al-Shari, preparing for the attacks. The U.S. never formally prosecuted bin Laden for 9/11, although he was on the FBI's most wanted list for the embassy bombings in Tanzania and Kenya. After a 10-year quest, U.S. President Barack Obama declared bin Laden's death on May 1, 2011 in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Yasri Fuda of Al Jazeera said in April 2002 that al-Qaeda member Khalid Sheikh Mohammed confirmed his involvement in the bombings together with Ramzi bin al-Shibh. According to the 9/11 Commission report, Mohammed's enmity towards the United States originated from his violent disagreement with U.S. foreign policy favoring Israel. Mohammed advised and financed the 1993 World Trade Center bombing and was the uncle of the main bomber. Pakistani security officials collaborating with the CIA arrested Mohammed on March 1, 2003, in Rawalpindi. He was then incarcerated in numerous CIA secret prisons including Guantanamo Bay and Waterboard. Mohammed again acknowledged his responsibility for the attacks in March 2007 at Guantanamo Bay. He said he was responsible for the 9/11 operation from A to Z and that his testimony was not made under duress. A letter presented by Mohammed's lawyers before U.S. District Court, Manhattan, on July 26, 2019, claimed he was interested in testifying about Saudi Arabia's role in the 9/11 attacks and helping 9/11 victims and families in exchange for the U.S. not seeking the death penalty against him. One of the victims' lawyers questioned James Cranler's testimony. Mohammed, Ramzi bin al-Shibh, and Abu Turab al-Arduni. So far, only minor figures have been charged or convicted for the attacks. The Spanish High Court condemned Abu Dada to 27 years in prison for 9/11 conspiracy and al-Qaeda membership on September 26, 2005. At the same time, 17 al-Qaeda members were given 6 to 11-year sentences. On February 16, 2006, the Spanish Supreme Court lowered Abu Dada's sentence to 12 years since his conspiracy participation was not confirmed. In 2006, Moussaoui, who some thought might be the 20th hijacker, was convicted of conspiracy to conduct terrorism and aviation piracy. He was given a life sentence in the U.S. Monir el-Motassadegh, an accomplice of the Hamburg-based hijackers, served 15 years in Germany for helping them plan for the attacks. In October 2018, he was deported to Morocco. Mohammed Atta, Marwan al-Shehi, Ziad Jarrah, Ramzi bin al-Shibh, and Said Bahaji were Hamburg cell members. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.